about the Meghnaghat project, so I can add to what has already been said by Tuhin. Now, as you know, once it is established, the Meghnaghat 750 megawatt gas-based independent, quote unquote, independent power project would be the largest in Bangladesh. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more about the companies behind it, but it was supposed to represent, but we are not slightly unsure, as I will tell you why. It was supposed to represent the largest foreign direct investment from India to Bangladesh. And it was originally meant to reduce the debt burden of Reliance Power by about 116 million US dollars, which works out to roughly 835 crore rupees. And this money was payable to the Export-Import Bank of the United States of America. Now, if you look at the sequence of events, how did it all begin? In June of 2015, the Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina, they met at Dhaka, and a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, was signed. But it wasn't until more than 3 years later, on the 31st of August, that finally an agreement was signed between Reliance Power on one side, Japan's JERA on the other side, and Bangladesh BPDB, which is the Bangladesh Power Development Board. Now, the way it was working, as Tuhin was already pointed out, this was supposed to be the first of a series of projects which would eventually lead to the establishment of 3,000 megawatts of gas-based, what they call combined cycle power project in phases. Now, there were 3 separate agreements. And now it's very interesting to know what will happen to these agreements, because the deal is no longer what it used to be. The first agreement was a power purchase agreement and a land lease agreement with the Bangladesh Power Development Board. The second part of the second agreement was a gas supply agreement with Titas Gas, which is a subsidiary of Petrobangla. And third, and this is the most important part of it, was what is called an implementation agreement, which was signed with the Ministry of Power, Energy and Mineral Resources in Dhaka. And it was supposed to be implemented in 3 years. Exactly 3 years was the implementation of time. And at that time, if you recall, in September, when it was signed on the last day of August 2019, soon thereafter, on the 3rd of September, both Mr. Anil Ambani, the chairman of Reliance Power, said that this is going to really boost the economic growth and industrial growth of Bangladesh, and it will enhance the energy security of the country and lead to clean, green, and renewable LNG, or liquefied natural gas-based power. And at the same time, a similar sort of statement came from Satoshi Onoda, who was the president of JERA. It has been pointed out by Tuhin, what was being given to Bangladesh was really a relocation of a model which was of power equipment which was already at Samalkot in Andhra Pradesh. Now, a little bit about JERA before I talk about Reliance. JERA was set up in October 2015. It is an alliance between 2 major Japanese power utilities. One is the Tokyo Electric Power Company, and the other is the Chubu Electric Power Company. And together, this entity is one of the largest power supply entities in Japan. And they deal with the entire energy supply chain, from procurement of fuel to the generation of power. And it has, in Japan itself, it has invested in about 26 power projects, a total of about 67 gigawatt or 67,000 megawatt. And in addition to that, there is an additional 10,000 megawatts or almost 10,000 megawatts or 10 gigawatt of installed capacity outside Japan. And let me suggest something here. In a way, what has happened may actually be good for Bangladesh. Because Reliance has virtually withdrawn from the project. Officially, it will still have its shares, but the entire management and implementation has now gone to the Japanese. Why did this happen? Essentially because Mr. Anil Dhirubhai Ambani's group, of which Reliance Power is a part, has gone broke. It is bankrupt. Let me explain what happened. Once upon a time, the Reliance ADAG, and you must have separate the two, because the older brother is Mukesh Ambani and the younger brother is Anil Ambani. Anil Ambani is 60 years old, Mukesh Ambani is 2 years older than him. Now, their father, Dhirubhai Ambani, died on the 6th of July 2002. He died intestate. That means he died without a will. So then what happened was there was a big fight among the brothers, and finally the mother had to mediate and intervene. And after this fight, which was out all over, it was out in the open, and everybody was sort of saying terrible things about the other, the mother mediated, and then they arrived at an understanding. The assets were divided. Mukesh Bhai got petrochemicals and petroleum and polyester, and Anil got power, financial services, telecoms, but now telecoms is part of the Anil group. Why did this happen? Because Anil Ambani's group slowly but surely started going down. It could not repay its loans. So from being a leading private sector generator of coal, based on coal as well as gas and renewables, it once upon a time, remember Anil, the group, Reliance Power Group, used to have an operating portfolio which was almost like 6,000 megawatts, 6 gigawatts, like 5,945 to be precise. But now that number has shrunk. I don't know the exact number now, but it is really in a very, very bad shape. Why? Because it is not able to pay its debts. Now, let me give you 2 or 3 examples as to why it happened. Firstly, Anil Ambani, 12 years ago, used to be like his brother, one of the richest men in India. In fact, he was the third most. His brother was number 1, and he was in the number 3 position. And because after the division of the assets, his net worth in 1 year had trebled. But then what happened is, he had a series of high-profile projects. One among them was with Steven Spielberg and his movie-making company, DreamWorks. Then he got into controversy after controversy, including the one with the French aircraft manufacturer Dassault to make the have local manufacturing of the Rafale aircraft, which has become a politically very controversial project. Now, what has happened is, how do we know that Anil Ambani is bankrupt? I'll give you 3 examples and then conclude. In March 2019, the Supreme Court of India directed Anil Ambani to pay roughly 80 million US dollars to the Swedish telecom equipment manufacturer Ericsson. And the Supreme Court of India told Mr. Ambani, Anil Ambani, that if you do not pay up, we will put you behind bars. At that point of time, his older brother's son was getting married, and if Bloomberg is to be believed, he literally had to beg the older brother to bail him out. The equivalent of about 600 crores. Once again, according to Bloomberg Quint, he surrendered 299-year-old leases for 2 very, very big office buildings in downtown Mumbai to pay this loan. So what happened after that, his troubles didn't get over. In March of this year, a London court, a judge, David Waxman, he told Anil Ambani's group, please pay the equivalent of roughly 92.5 million US dollars to 3 Chinese banks. These were CDB, ICBC, CXIM. In 2012, a company called Reliance Communications and another company, Reliance Infratel, they had borrowed this money and they were unable to pay it back. And what did his lawyer tell the court? He says our client's net worth is down to 9 million, whereas his total liabilities are over 300 million. So effectively, he is bankrupt. So the judge says, but he has his private aircraft, he has his fancy yacht, his older brother helped him out, and when Ericsson wanted the money, so why don't you go back to your older brother? So the lawyer said, no, it was a one-time settlement, and we can't give this money kind of again. On the 22nd of May, the UK court ordered that he pay up this money within 21 days. And the whole issue was, whose guarantee is it? Is it a personal guarantee? Or is it the guarantee of the company which Mr. Ambani is being asked to pay? And he said, you immediately deposit $100 million. I do not know whether he'll be able to do so. But Anil Ambani claims he signed, within quotes, and lawyers will understand what I'm talking about, a power of attorney limited to executing a non-binding letter of comfort to these banks. But the judge is saying, no, you are personally liable. It's a personal guarantee. Now, Mr. Anil Ambani's group has a similar problem. 1,200 crores is being now asked for by India's biggest bank, the State Bank of India. On the 18th of June, they asked for this money to be paid, and this matter has gone to the National Company Law Tribunal, and it may go up to the Appellate Tribunal. The same story, personal loan, personal guarantee, or corporate loan, corporate guarantee. So in a sense, Bangladesh might be better off with the Japanese rather than Mr. Anil Ambani. Thank you very much.
Thank you.